Hello, everyone. Thank you all for joining us on our OneDrive overview session. I am Ankita Kirti, Product Marketing Manager for OneDrive. And with me today, I have my colleague, Jason Moore.
Hi, I'm Jason Moore, Director of Program Management for OneDrive.
Quickly taking you through the agenda, today we will start with a brief introduction to Files experience in Microsoft 365. Jason would then run you through the product and customer momentum. I would be showcasing some of the great new innovations and features that OneDrive team has released recently and would be releasing in future. And then we would end with our roadmap. Microsoft 365 is built for teamwork and provides various options to unlock creativity and productivity whilst being integrated for simplicity and intelligent security. Whether you are working on your own, storing, creating, editing, organizing, and sharing content, or if you are working as a team in a more collaborative environment that requires you to work with your team, communicate with your colleagues, and share and co-author in real time, Microsoft 365 has your back. Microsoft 365 empowers individuals, teams, and organizations to share and work together with files. And speaking about files, OneDrive. OneDrive is your place for all files. OneDrive powers files experience and collaboration across Microsoft 365. So how you work might be constantly changing, but your files experience is consistent, similar, and seamless. OneDrive streamlines your files workflow through a connected set of familiar apps baked into the Microsoft ecosystem. So there's no need for any third-party add-ons. Plus, it's built on Microsoft Cloud, giving you enterprise-grade tools that protect and back up your content. So OneDrive is your intelligent files app for Microsoft 365. With OneDrive, you can view, create, edit, capture all files and photos from any device and any place. You can share and work together in real time with people within your organization or outside your organization. At the same time, OneDrive makes it very easy for you to find files that matter the most to you and organize them for future use. And all these functionalities supported by the enterprise-grade security and compliance of Microsoft 365, helping you keep your files backed up, secured, and protected. I will now hand over to Jason to run us through the product momentum.
Thanks, Ankita. Let's talk about some of the product updates and innovation we've had over the last year and how they've impacted our product story. At the most fundamental layer, you want to have the right capabilities built in. That's why this year we ship support for 100 gigabyte files, letting you share absolutely massive files through OneDrive. Goodbye, 15 gigs. And just as we introduced support for those larger files, we've also added differential sync to our OneDrive sync client. Differential sync was our #1 user voice ask last year with over 10,000 votes. With differential sync, we only send the parts of the file that change over the wire. This has not only led to much better performance, but it saves you time and money by reducing the amount of content that needs to come over your networks or the types of bandwidth you need to deploy for your users. Of course, you use OneDrive for more than just putting large files in the cloud. Collaboration is at the heart of what we do, and why OneDrive and SharePoint power the experiences you find for files in Outlook, Teams, and across Microsoft 365. And we've delivered new capabilities this year, such as block download for all your files, that lets you share files and prevent them from walking away by keeping them right in the browser for those recipients you're sending it to. We've improved our version history experience and made it more accessible than ever, right from File Explorer on Windows or Finder on the Mac. With these abilities at your fingertips, you're able to flow together your work in a much simpler way. We've also upgraded one of our most popular new features this year, the File Card. The File Card provides intelligence about your files wherever they are in OneDrive. We've upgraded this with the ability to see the conversations your files are a part of. You don't have to go hunt down that email or instant message in a Teams chat or channel in order to understand the conversation you were having about changes you might have discussed. You can get to those right from the file easily and quickly, getting you back to that content. This also builds on the unique Microsoft 365 promise of the most integrated and seamless experiences. And as you already know, this is built natively into our fully compliant and easily governed service. We've upgraded that this year, including information barriers. Information barriers allow organizations to control the communication between two individuals or more. It's particularly critical if you're regulated in such a way that different parts of your organization or company may need to be properly separated. Built in, seamless to the user experience, this can give you enormous peace of mind. And in addition to information barriers, sensitivity labels have rolled out, putting IT in a place where they can create peace of mind for the organization's most sensitive content while giving users control to make good decisions and be in compliance with organizational needs while still getting their job done. One of our most popular features in the last year was bringing dark mode to iOS and more recently on Android. We love features like this that make it easier for people to work the way they want with the devices they want to use. And we're going even further with our recent update of OneDrive Home rolling out now on iOS. OneDrive Home provides a simple, unified view of our most recent and important files and makes it easier to quickly get back to what you were doing, including your shared libraries and quick access to your offline files. We're also excited about the recently released Surface Duo. OneDrive is a critical component of the Duo experience. It's integrated and takes advantage of having multiple screens. You can easily drag-drop between apps to share a file you've been working on, preview and read files without losing your place by using both screens, or use our new book-like reading experience that lets you access documents you've taken offline or just access right there in real time. That builds on our native PDF experience in OneDrive with support for features like highlighting and notes. And with our built-in scanning capabilities, OneDrive was made for Duo. It's been a challenging, humbling year. And in the past year, we've seen more than double the active usage of OneDrive, from existing customers taking advantage of even more of the great features and services provided, to brand new customers who come online for the first time using OneDrive. We're proud to help essential workers across healthcare, government, and more, while powering remote workers in every industry and in every school. It's a responsibility we don't take lightly, and we're going to continue to work on delivering for. We've published a number of great case studies for each of you to check out and learn more about amazing businesses that are taking advantage of OneDrive, like Nestle, Gap, Bridgewater, and Walmart. They've made the move to OneDrive to power their file collaboration needs. To go a little more in depth, let's welcome Michelle Nelson from Expedia to the virtual stage to talk about how Expedia is taking advantage of OneDrive. Thanks for being here today, Michelle. I was hoping maybe you could start us off by telling us a little bit more about Expedia.
Hi, my name is Michelle Nelson, and I'm a product manager at Expedia Group. I work in the corporate IT team, and we work with collaboration and productivity tools for our global employees.
Welcome to the session, Michelle. I'd love if you could start by giving us a little bit of information kind of about Expedia Group. What's Expedia about? What does Expedia do?
Absolutely. Thank you. Expedia Group is a global travel company. We power the world's largest travel platform, and we bring experiences to people all over the globe. As a corporate company, we also have knowledge workers, and we have developers, and we have hotel partners. And so we have a really diverse workforce within that enterprise.
Thanks, Michelle, for joining us again. What I would want to know is, why was OneDrive or SharePoint the natural step in your journey to digital transformation?
Expedia Group has always taken a best-in-class approach to selecting software standards, and we've historically given employees a ton of freedom to choose how they work. As you can imagine, over time, this has resulted in a pretty serious tool overload and has actually started to impact our team's ability to work together collaboratively. So now in 2020, as the pandemic significantly impacted the travel industry, and as our company is also finalizing a pretty significant organizational restructuring, we're taking steps as one team to align on a common standard and common ways of working. OneDrive wasn't exactly a natural first step, but more of a side effect of needing to collaborate seamlessly in the Office suite. Most of the company relies on Word, Excel, and PowerPoint for their day-to-day. I'd also add that as a product manager, it's super important that I'm able to demonstrate ongoing ROI. One of the ways we can do this is by making sure our employees are leveraging the most out of our core tools. This is a constant journey. We're definitely still adjusting to the idea of OneDrive as the me cloud and SharePoint as the we cloud, but being in the same file store has 100% helped cross-functional teams collaborate.
It's interesting to hear about the journey that Expedia has been on. How would you say the adoption of these products have helped in the current kind of remote working from home scenario?
First, I have to admit that as a global tech company, the shift to fully remote work probably hasn't impacted us as significantly as other businesses. We're used to connecting with people outside of our central office over video conference and chat channels. So when the pandemic required us all to work from home, I think there was less of a learning curve and more of a reminder to use best practices, like always share a link instead of a file and always include a conference line in a meeting invite. We've been shifting over the past few years to employees working on laptops and using cloud storage, so we've been fortunate in some ways. Having teams agree on where they're going to store files definitely speeds up remote collaboration, because these days it's so much harder to just shoulder tap a coworker for questions. We continue to do collaboration fundamental trainings, making sure employees are really fluent in the basics, finding, sharing, syncing files. One of the most common questions we hear about is managing permissions and access and making sure that files that are shared with a link can stay confidential so that only the intended users can access those documents. This is especially important for employees in our compliance, finance, and procurement teams who may have been more likely to send an attachment rather than a link. Showing them how to manage access from the share panel has been a huge aha moment for so many people. Knowing who has access and being able to revoke that access gives them a sense of psychological security. These tools are so powerful, but it's hard for newer users to really get the full benefit of them because in some instances, you have to know what you're looking for to be able to find it. Another example of that is mobile usage. Our team only has about 2% mobile usage, but as one of those 2%ers, I get a ton of value out of having the OneDrive and SharePoint apps to grab a link and the Office app to quickly review or edit docs from my phone. Every time I mention the mobile apps in a training, people love the concept. They just hadn't considered it before or thought to search for it in the App Store.
Those are such amazing scenarios, Michelle. Thank you so much for sharing. But I would like to dig a little deeper on your strategy around security. And I'm sure with remote work, managing the security and compliance and governance needs for your organization is also a really critical facet. So what is your strategy right now around all of these functionalities while so many of your employees are working from home around the globe?
Security is an incredibly important part of our business, both for internal collaboration as well as for teams working externally with our consumer products and business partners. As a global company that relies on software to do our jobs, we really need sophisticated tools that can both enable us to make the right choices and also nudge us in the right direction when we're not sure. Prior to recommending OneDrive to our employees this year, we completed another security impact assessment to really understand where our liabilities and risks might be. We do this with all of our core products regularly as features and infrastructure are released. After that assessment, we were able to open up the platform to external collaboration, which is a core use case for many of our employees, especially in this remote collaboration world. Our security team really liked the ability to have somewhat granular controls over the type of access we allow at a tenant level for both OneDrive and SharePoint.
So as part of this journey to OneDrive and SharePoint, obviously, you had to bring a whole bunch of content Expedia already had. Can you share a little bit about the data migration plan that you put together and executed?
Yes, we had a great experience working with both the Mover technology and the team that supports it at Microsoft. At the beginning of the year, we were evaluating what mechanisms and migration strategies were at our disposal and what those costs associated with each would look like. Prior to learning about Mover's capabilities and how the tool is even built into the admin console for self-service, we had been preparing to recommend that our employees do a self-move to OneDrive. We were definitely concerned about compliance and how successful we'd be at getting that collaboration gain we were hoping for. Working with Mover was so straightforward. The first thing they did was a scan of our environment, which gave us the amount of data and number of files stored for each user. We also got a very clear understanding of which files would be problematic for the tool to migrate, and then guidance on how to resolve those specific issues. From there, we were able to build a strategy of which users needed extra attention and what kind of resources we'd need to ensure a smooth cutover. The data we got from Mover helped us be really intentional about the timeline and how we messaged to employees about the upcoming changes. Because changing where people store their files can be really disruptive, especially if share permissions are lost or if files go missing. So Mover's technology gave us the data we needed to be really confident communicating with our end users that this transition would have a minimal impact on their work.
Picking up from some of the change management that you spoke about, one final question. What were your top 3 learnings about driving remote change management?
That's a great question. There are a couple of things that come to mind. First is being very crisp on the timeline. You have to know exactly when the migration will happen, when those milestones will happen, so that you can communicate very effectively with your employees and make sure you do it enough in advance so that they get the message. The second thing is having a resource library at your disposal. As you're migrating people into a new tool, they will have questions and they are going to consistently need resources, webinars, trainings, use case libraries to be able to help them get into the rhythm of the new way of working. And the third thing is that a lot of those questions that they have are so predictable and so reliable. So knowing how to scale those answers to your entire business and being able to make sure that everyone has the same answer very quickly is super helpful.
Thank you so much for joining us, Michelle. I know this entire session could have been dedicated to you and your journey, but thanks so much for spending some time with us and answering our questions. I'm pretty sure it will be really, really valuable for all our viewers.
Absolutely. Michelle, it's great to hear about the journey Expedia has been on and get kind of your firsthand knowledge to share with the broader audience. I'm looking forward to hearing a lot more good stuff from all of you at Expedia.
Thank you so much for having me, Jason and Ankita. It was great to both meet you and share our journey, and I hope that we can continue the collaboration in the future.
So we just heard from Michelle about how Expedia, leveraging OneDrive, has been able to consolidate disparate systems and tools, reduce friction and increase their productivity, integrate data security and compliance, and did all of that with a seamless migration leveraging Microsoft's Mover technology. It's pretty exciting to hear, and we can't wait to see what Expedia does next. Next, Ankita is going to walk us through some of the latest and upcoming innovations happening in OneDrive.
Today, I will begin the demos with some performance improvements that we have rolled out to OneDrive for Web. We have upgraded the page load times, enabling users to get to their work in half the time. The FCI metric has improved by 50%, going from 17 seconds at 75 percentile to less than 9 seconds at 75 percentile. But enough talking. Let me show this difference to you right now, side by side. Here you can see the before and after of the page load experience. That went by quickly. Let's look at that again slowly so we can really see the difference. All current improvements in web performance are rolling out right now as we speak. Along with the performance, we also have a strong focus on inclusive design principles and adapting to the needs of millions by giving them a choice and flexibility. With this in mind, we are happy to announce that we will soon be releasing dark mode for OneDrive Web across commercial and personal accounts. Apart from the aesthetic appeal, widely known perks of dark mode are that it reduces eye strain and improves battery life for the device. Files are often the starting point for getting work done and staying connected. And OneDrive not only makes it easy for you to access and organize your work, it also enables you to easily get back to the files that matter the most to you. With our recently announced feature, Add to OneDrive, when someone shares a folder with you in Microsoft OneDrive, SharePoint, or Teams, you can now easily add a shortcut to that shared folder in your OneDrive so that you can easily find and get back to those files whenever you need them. Let's check out the feature. Add to OneDrive helps you bring all your shared content into one place and work with the same power and flexibility as the files you own. Whether I'm accessing these shared folders in the shared view of my OneDrive or a shared library in SharePoint, I have the ability to add these folders directly to my OneDrive. Let's check out the Shared With Me view first. I work close with Alex on the ad campaign for the QT series, and I can see he has shared this folder with me directly from his OneDrive. To make sure I can easily access these files in future, I will click on Add Shortcut to my files. Going to my files, I can now access the added folders directly in my OneDrive. Similarly, I can add a shortcut to a folder from a SharePoint shared library that I'm a part of. Like for example, the sales and marketing one. I will select the monthly reports folder that I need to update frequently. Click on Add Shortcut to OneDrive, and there you go. The added folder is in my OneDrive. And this isn't just limited to the web. These added folders can also be easily synced to my device, enabling me to work on them even when I'm offline. So if you're like me, who works with various collaborators, now instead of looking for content based on who shared it or trying to remember how you received the file, you can easily access all these files within your OneDrive. So files that are important to you, files that you need to revisit, are all intact in your OneDrive. Add to OneDrive is just one of the several features that makes your files experience collaborative, connected, secure, and flexible. Let us check out some of the other collaboration features. I'm sure, like me, your files do go through a workflow or a life cycle from creation to review and to final. And in this journey, it might need to relocate from my OneDrive to a shared library that I'm a part of, so that its reach can be extended to a broader group of collaborators. But we should make sure that it does so without affecting the original access control. And soon, business users will be able to do exactly just that. So now if I want to relocate this annual financial report that I have been working on with my colleagues to my org's shared library, I can easily move it and keep the sharing permissions intact. Now, we know that sharing and collaboration is critical to productivity, but what is even more critical is the fact that you have the ability to work and collaborate with people outside and inside your organization, but do it in a very secure manner without the risk of data leakage. And our team is always innovating to make sure that that is possible for you. Like, for example, extending block download sharing links to non-office file types. So now when you share an image or when you share a PDF, you can restrict people from downloading the file, helping you avoid out-of-date copies and maintain access control. Recently released Open in Review mode for Word Online can also add to this experience of secure sharing, which will restrict the editing capability and allow the recipient to only make suggestions or add comments. So now when I share this critical international marketing strategies file in review mode with my colleague Alex, he will be able to only make track changes and just leave comments. Being the owner of the file, I will retain the right to approve or deny these track changes as needed. We realize that strong teamwork requires you to share and collaborate with folks not only within your organization, but also with people outside your organization. And they can be third-party vendors, your partners, customers, a lot of other folks. But this also means that the admins need to make sure that third-party access to data does not last forever and avoid leaking organizational data by accident. Soon, administrators will be able to set a mandatory expiration period in the SharePoint admin center, and that applies to both OneDrive and SharePoint. Once the policy is implemented, external users will automatically lose access to content, but OneDrive owners and SharePoint admins will have the authority to extend or expire access for the selected external users. Here you can see that one of the guests that I usually collaborate with is Alex from Fabricam, whose access might expire in the next few days. So I can either extend or revoke access for Alex. We have always been very proud of creating a consistent sharing experience across Microsoft 365. So whether you're sharing a file from Office, Microsoft OneDrive, or SharePoint, the sharing experience will be seamless. And we are very excited to bring this experience to you now in Teams. Microsoft Teams is a hub for teamwork where people collaborate on files, communicate, and streamline processes. While working in Microsoft Teams, it is a great time saver to be able to access the files that are important to your topics very easily. As you can see, when I go to share a file within my group chat in Teams, I can easily pick a file from my OneDrive and share it with my colleagues. But the best part is that the sharing experience is consistent to the other apps of Microsoft 365. I can select the Anyone Sharing link and set the same access controls as I would have within OneDrive, SharePoint, or Office. But with Teams, I also get an added advantage of being able to limit the access to the shared file to only the people present currently in this chat. So now when I do share this file, only Nestor and Alex will be able to view and edit it. Anyone else added to this chat in future will also have to proactively request for access. Pretty cool, right? I hope you've liked all these end user features, but we're not done yet. I've saved the best for the last. We see you are admins, and we want to make sure that managing, monitoring, and keeping data secure is extremely easy for you with OneDrive and Microsoft 365. To further empower you with efficient control over organizational content, we are happy to announce that OneDrive Admin Center will now be converging with the SharePoint Admin Center to provide a holistic control and streamline the admin experience. As you can see, I'm in the SharePoint Admin Center right now, where I can control internal and external sharing at an organizational level in both SharePoint and OneDrive. I can make sharing most or least permissive for people across the organization, or I can identify specific security groups within an organization in SharePoint or OneDrive and allow just them to share links to files and folders externally with anyone or authenticated guests. I can also set a mandatory expiration periods for guests that my users are collaborating with via their OneDrive and SharePoint. This will prompt the extension of access request, which we saw earlier today. I can also choose expiration and permission options for anyone links across OneDrive and SharePoint. Admins will also be able to set access controls for their users. Along with this, admins will also be able to manage default storage limit, allow users to receive device notifications, specify retention policies, and manage sync controls for OneDrive, all within the SharePoint Admin Center, consolidating admin tools in one place. This new admin experience will be available for you later this year. And now, last but not the least, one of the most exciting features for this year. We are so thrilled to soon be able to provide Sync admins with more visibility and insights into the Sync app. Based on the feedback that we have received from you, we have worked hard on our vision for the Sync admin reports that would enable Sync admins from small, medium business to large enterprises with not only data, but actionable insights. So if I'm a Sync admin and the users of my organization depend on OneDrive for the secure anywhere file access, as well as internal and external collaboration, my priority would be to monitor Sync adoption as well as health. As businesses move towards remote working scenario, this has become immensely important for Sync admins. Now here you can see an executive summary. I, as a Sync admin, can now see how many devices have sync errors. Here I see 9% of devices do. This will help me to drill down errors on each device and also solve end user problems proactively. If I'm deploying known folder move in my organization, I can also monitor the progress. Like here, I see 58% of the devices have moved their important Windows folders like documents, pictures, and desktop to OneDrive. I also have folder level insights. And finally, I can see that 90% of the devices have updated to the current version of Sync app. So there is still 10% that I need to take care of. In parallel to this summary, we also have made it easy for you to drill down to details and monitor sync status of each user device in the Details tab. This is a lot of information, so let me take you through it step by step. So here you can see the user names and their email addresses along with the device names. I can also see the progress of known folder move for each device. For example, Johanna has just redirected desktop and documents and not my pictures. That's interesting. The sync error column gives us a quick update on the health of the sync app. And as you can see, some of the users have a couple of sync errors that I need to address. The app version is also visible. And finally, a very important and requested metric: when was the last time the device was synced? Last but not the least, we also surface when was the last time this status report was generated. All of that is really great, but I don't think that's enough. As an admin, I love the fact that I get to see all these details, but I would want to drill further down. I would want to learn more about these errors, and I would want to see exactly what the user sees, so that I can proactively reach out to my users and provide them the necessary guidance and solutions needed to fix these sync errors. And with Sync Admin reports, I can do exactly that. Let's check out more details for Johnny Sherman's device. So here I can see his info, his device name, his email address. I see that Johnny is working on a Mac and his last sync status was a couple of days ago. Interesting. But the best part is that I can exactly see all the errors in detail as Johnny might be seeing. So seems like Johnny has used unsupported characters in his file name. So once he changes that, majority of his errors will get resolved. And one of the file seems to be opened by another program. I think Office in this case, which is why it can't be synced. So once the file is closed, the error would be resolved as well. I can now proactively reach out to Johnny and help him with the solutions. This was a sneak peek into the Sync Admin reports. In terms of timeline, we will soon be releasing the public preview, so stay tuned for more announcements and updates. I would now hand it back to Jason to run us through a quick recap.
Wow, I love seeing those in action every time, Ankita. Let's recap what we've just looked at and at some of the awesome work that's still coming to OneDrive this year and beyond. Add to OneDrive is an exciting feature that just rolled into public preview. Puts you in control, letting you add the folders shared with you, whether in Teams, SharePoint, or OneDrive. It works on every OneDrive endpoint, whether that's our website, mobile clients on Android and iOS, or right in your Windows PC or Mac with our Sync client. And that includes natively in the Office Backstage or in Teams. It does so while still respective of all the policy, compliance, and governance controls placed on the content wherever it lives, meaning you can sleep safe and sound, knowing that users can be even more productive. You've seen the headlines and heard about the wild success of Microsoft Teams has had. Key to every Teams user success is being able to depend on OneDrive. That's why we're introducing this consistent and secure sharing experience natively in Teams. It makes it easy to work with files and share securely right in your chats. And every link, file, and folder follows all of your administrative settings and configured policies. One of my very favorite features that Ankita demoed is our upcoming ability to get sync client status and health information right in the admin reporting dashboard. Whether you're looking to understand what's going on for a given user, a given machine, or across both, you can immediately find and fix trouble spots. For those of you who are rolling out known folder move, this is an incredibly handy way to monitor and manage that rollout. It gives you better insight and more confidence. And we know that sometimes things don't go according to plan. With Sync Admin reports, you can proactively solve and resolve issues for end users that they might not have even seen yet. Again, it puts you in the driver's seat. We love building new features for everyone, but it's important not to forget to focus in sometimes on the things that really make your life easier. With our admin center consolidation, we're doing exactly that by bringing together the OneDrive admin controls into the updated SharePoint Admin Center. This not only gives you a one-stop shop, saving you clicks and time, but it comes with new enhancements in reporting, support for WCAG 2.1 accessibility, global reader, and error messaging. As we've shown over the last 5 years or more, we're constantly adding new capabilities to OneDrive and refining others. And we're not stopping. Great examples right now are taking advantage of capabilities like Mover, which lets you migrate your content easily and seamlessly to OneDrive and Microsoft 365, or the experiences in OneDrive Home that make your files more organized and productive for you. One of our delightful surprises has been the viewing of offline files on OneDrive for iOS and Android. We've heard about customers using this up in the sky, out in the woods, and pretty much everywhere else on planet Earth. We know that you want to do even more. And as a next step, we'll be introducing the ability to edit your Office documents offline on iOS. That means you'll be able to work in your Office documents anywhere without a connection and upload those changes when you're back online, giving you increased flexibility in choosing how and where to do your work. We were excited to unveil Known Folder Move at the SharePoint conference in 2018, and since then you've shared fantastic feedback as you've taken advantage of it, leading to new capabilities like OneNote migration. We're proud of the strong uptake we've seen on KFM, and we continue to see the value, where customers who deploy KFM have more engaged, more collaborative, and happier users, and they can rest easier knowing their organization's data is protected. For a little while now, we've also heard that you want to see us bring this to the Mac. It's been a little challenging. Those of you deep in both the Windows and Mac worlds know that the systems that we're dealing with across these operating systems work quite a bit different in this space. And we wanted to make sure if we did anything, we would be confident that it was going to be reliable, performant, and something we could be proud of. I'm here to say, we hear you, and we're working on it. You can expect to hear a lot more next year. If you're interested in learning more and discovering how to deliver success with OneDrive, we have a set of sessions you can watch here that will help you dig in. Whether it's about sharing and collaboration, deployment, mobile devices, in-depth security and compliance, or you're migrating your content for the very first time to OneDrive. Thank you all for your time today. We hope this has been educational and productive. You're one step closer to delivering an ideal experience with OneDrive. We're humbled to be a part of your journey, and we can't wait to show you what's coming next. These links will help you get the latest guidance, news, and help us make OneDrive even better together. See you next time.
Thanks everyone for joining us. I hope you really enjoyed the session. Have a great day.